All right, I'm going to get into it right now. Low memory warning on PC. Wait, is this the first one? That's okay. We're gonna go with this one here. It's from Merta Noyan. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you for submitting the ticket. If you want to submit a ticket yourself, I will leave a link in the first comment as well. So please submit more tickets. Thank you very much. Hello, I am getting a low memory warning, and even work Excels have been closed for this. Even work Excels have been closed for this. I'm not sure if I understand this sentence here correctly, but are you referring to even Excel's, like Excel's as in like Excel worksheets? Is that what you mean? Excel's worksheets that they get closed? Okay, let's just assume that's that. I only have about 400 megabytes of space according to the laptop. Well, that's not good. So you need to make sure you have enough space to work every time you open up new things, and if it's especially if it's spreadsheets, and if there are multiple Excels, it will start to take up space. So you need to make space. You need to make more space, and if you get those warnings, then you definitely need to make more space, right? Simple as this. There's a problem with laptops usually, and to save money, a lot of times local C drive like this here is only like 120 gigabytes, but by the time you format it, it's 110 or so, and you can run out of space easily because nowadays 110 gigabytes is not a lot of space. It's not a lot of space. So if you're saving your work to this or installing programs onto C drive, is not necessarily a good idea because you're going to run out of space, right? You can quickly run out of space. For those reasons, you want to have a secondary hard drive which you can install, like this one, like I have this one for video storage, and look, it's around a terabyte, right? And then I've got this one is just system reserve. This is whenever you format and install operating system reserve. This little drive, which is like only 100 megabytes, is created by the system itself. Let's go in and just kind of see what's inside. It's not visible here, but it is system reserved, and there are some system files related to system restore that are there. So back to the topic. You're running out of space. You're running out of space. Well, how do you make more space? You're going to have to make more space, right? Otherwise, things are not going to work. Well, first thing you can do is remove programs that you're not using. So if you go to add remove programs, just go through and see which one you don't need anymore. So let's say I no longer need, I don't know, something that might be any of these. You can go in, just select it and select uninstall. Make sure it's something that you will never use. Okay, so that's step one. And then there's step two, where you can make sure that your recycle bin is emptied here. Okay, let me just organize this here a little bit here. These files are from working on Office 365 videos. So if you have things in a recycle bin, just right click, empty recycle bin. That's going to make some space. And then you can do disk cleanup. So disk cleanup, you can just do a search for disk cleanup. And disk cleanup, you can select which drive you want to do a disk cleanup to. And it's probably going to be C drive in your case. Click OK. And it's going to calculate how much memory it can free. You notice now it says recycle bin is 0 because we've just emptied it, but it will go through some of these places and see if it can remove some of the data. So here are some stuff that you can remove. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's not much. You can also do cleanup system files, and for this you need administrator login. So what does that mean? That means you can delete some of the system files related to Windows updates, to system restore points that can take up time. So now notice now we have some other options. For example, Windows Update Cleanup. We can delete this. So it looks completely different from what we've done before. So make sure you click on that. And here again, just to compare how it was before we opened it up. Well, I can't open up another version. I was going to do a side by side. But anyways, you know that we suddenly have a lot more here that we can delete. So here it is, Windows Update Cleanup, and it tells you what it is. Windows keeps copies of all installed updates from Windows updates. After installing newer version of updates, Windows Update Cleanup deletes or compresses older versions of updates that are no longer needed and taking up space. And then you can delete this, and then afterwards you can, you have to reboot, I guess. And it's almost 7 GB, which is a lot, right? And then you can see other stuff here that you can start to delete. And then I'll show you more. There's a lot more you can do too. And if you click on the next tab, you can do well, this is programs and features. This is what we looked at previously, which is very similar to add remove programs. It just looks a little bit different when you open it up. But this is how it used to look like whenever you were using Windows 7. And I guess if you're still using Windows 7, this is what it's going to look like, programs and features. And here is what we kind of saw previously. It's just that it's a different looking. But from here, you can turn Windows features on or off. So if you go in here, you can remove parts of operating system that you don't need to use. So let's say you have, I don't know, Hyper-V installed for some reason. You can select or just uncheck it. Make sure there is no check mark. You click OK, it's going to remove those features. But as somebody who may not know much about computers, no offense, because a lot of people watching my videos are still learning and new computers, do not play with this stuff. Do not remove or add anything in this here. I'm just saying this is an option. All right. So what else can we do? We go back to the C. We can start to delete some of the stuff that we don't use. For example, if I go to downloads here, there's a bunch of stuff in here that we can delete. We don't need any of this stuff right now, so we can delete it and make some space. So go to your downloads folder, you can delete all that stuff. You can go to root of C, and you can delete some of the program data that's located inside of app data. So if you go to users folder, and for example, I'm logged in as Kobuman right now, so this is my local profile on the computer. You can see a folder called app data, and there are some things in there you can delete. So for example, if you are not able to see app data, that's because you go to view and then select hidden items. You see how it kind of disappeared. If you go to view and select hidden items, the app data folder will appear, or you can simply just type in app data. Okay, and a lot of stuff that's in here is configuration data, but sometimes some of the other data is stored that might be taking up space. So if I go to local, chances are there will be some stuff in here that you don't need to use. So let's say you remove a program that you no longer use. There might be some data left over. And here's a folder where it's temp folder. You can delete some of this stuff as well. You can see there is an installation of VLC, which is a media player, and I can freely delete this. So anything that you see in here that you're comfortable with deleting, you can simply just Control A and delete all of this, right? And right now you can see this action can't be completed because the file is open in Microsoft Edge. So this is a temporary file created by the Edge application. So there will be some stuff in here, just so you know, that is actively being used. So that's what I'm saying. Be careful what you're delete. So let's say I want to delete the 4K downloader. This is an application that I sometimes use to download my own videos. Sometimes I lose my videos or storage of my videos on my video, and sometimes I want to reuse them and add them like a clip inside of another video. And so I use this program called 4K Downloader, and if I don't no longer use it, I can just delete this folder. And so on and so forth. If you no longer use WebEx, you can delete it. If you don't use Google, you can delete it. But keep in mind that this is configuration place for a lot of these programs. So let's say if I go to roaming, this is a roaming part of the profile itself, or your local profile, which typically houses configuration data as well. So if you delete any of this stuff, keep in mind that you will delete configuration data. So let's say I open up Edge again, and stuff like my sign in, automatic sign in and cookies will be gone if I delete some of this stuff in there. So only delete stuff that you no longer use. So I can't think of anything else that you could do. Of course, you can go through your documents and other stuff that might free up space for you. But if you're, for example, using Chrome, you can also go inside of Chrome and delete temporary data. So if you do a drop down here and go to settings, you can do, I don't know, cookies or something like that. And then you can delete some of the browsing data here, which can be a lot too. For example, if I click on this and if you time range and you select it to all time, you can free up quite a bit of space, especially if you're using this web browser to view videos. Because a lot of that video stuff is stored locally. So that's a lot of places you can go to make free space.